I went to freaking war last night. I had Chipotle yesterday with a few of my coworkers during our lunch break. And I woke up at like, I don't know, 3 in the morning last night or this morning, whatever you want to call it. And I was just hot, just burning up. And in my half asleep mind, I was trying to put together what's going on. I was like, somebody trying to kill me? Like, something's not right, but I don't know what it is. Like, am I being attacked? So many thoughts started going through my mind. And then I felt it. You know, when you're about to, when you're about to throw up, when it's about to like come out, like you can't do anything to stop it. And I felt it just rising up in me. So I had to gather what consciousness I had available to me on 3 hours of sleep and go book it inside and go to the bathroom and just get this demon out. Oh my God. And I mean, I don't want to give too many details, but it was crazy. And I had maybe a few hours of that just battling this spiritual force, trying to fight its way outside of my body, trying to tear me apart from the inside out. And I ate some blueberries, and so when I threw up the first time, it all came out red. And, you know, I'm still half asleep, so I'm like, am I dying? Am I actually dying? Is this it? So I was trying to kind of, you know, wake up my mind a little bit and analyze the situation, and I'm just seeing red everywhere. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not freaked out, but I'm like, there's a heavy feeling, like, this might be it. Oh, God. And once I kind of came to a little bit, and I remembered I ate blueberries, I was still like, you know, well, maybe it wasn't blueberries. I don't know. I was like, it's really red to be blueberries. You know, sometimes they come out different colors. But I was like, it's really, really red. I don't see much blue or purple in there. It's mostly red. It's like a slight, maybe purplish tint, a little bit. But it mostly just looked like a deep, kind of dark red. And you know, as I'm getting through the waves and all that, you know, and the color started to shift, and I started to taste like the stomach acid and all that, I was like, okay, well, probably was just blueberries because that was the last thing I ate. So that's just what came out first. But then I got kind of confused because I'm like, well, blueberries have never made me sick before. And they were frozen blueberries too, mind you. So I was like, there's really no reason why these blueberries should be destroying me at 3 in the morning like this. You know, usually blueberries have the opposite effect for me, especially frozen blueberries. So I spent a lot of time pondering, and the whole time I'm trying not to wake myself up too much because, you know, I'm supposed to have work in the morning and I don't want to wake my brain up too much. So I'm trying to balance, you know, figuring out if I'm gonna die, analyzing the situation, but also keeping my mind asleep enough so I can, you know, go back to sleep when this all gets out. But then I remembered, I remembered eating Chipotle for lunch. And a memory jumped back into my mind of a suspicious piece of chicken. And the piece of chicken looked all right on the outside, but it was a little bit too like squishy, you know, if you've ever had undercooked chicken. And it wasn't discolored, but it was just like a little bit too moist and a little bit too squishy. And it was like not that warm. It was like still kind of cool a little bit, like I guess room temperature. So that's when I really settled on, oh, I probably ate some suspicious chicken, and that's probably what did this. So that's where I'm at this morning. I still feel like shit. I'm in a tremendous amount of pain in my intestines, and I wound up not going to work this morning. My brakes also gave out, so pretty much driving with no brakes, and they make like a grinding sound from just driving. I don't even have to be braking, and I've put it off for too long. I know my brakes were on the way out for a while, but I just haven't had after having to live in my car and move out of the apartment with zero notice and all of that, I haven't had any money, any accessible money to really do anything yet. So I'm kind of trying to balance out the priorities, put out the hottest fires first. So I did get new brakes. They're on the way. Just waiting for those to get delivered so I can go ahead and change those out. But between that and me getting poisoned by Chipotle, I've had a pretty tumultuous morning. But it is what it is, I've eaten quite a few shit sandwiches over the last couple months. I don't need to go down a list spewing out my problems, because, that's just life. I'm not going to complain about it. I just need to kind of catch my breath a little bit and figure out how to solve each of these inconveniences. But yeah, it really is crazy, and I don't mean to downplay other people's situations at all, because I know people have gone through way worse than what I've gone through in the last couple months, and I know I'll probably go through worse at some point in my life, because I still am relatively young. But it is kind of crazy how you can have so many things built up, like a good, stable job that pays you decently, savings, have some investments on the side, they're doing pretty well, have a couple of animals, a couple cats, a couple dogs, have a place of your own. I just bought a new espresso machine. Super excited to get to use that. Is a Christmas present for my girlfriend at the time, but there have been some issues with it. She had thrown away one of the parts in the packaging, and so we never really got to use it because we were waiting on it to get a replacement part shipped from Korea. But I had all these things going, and I was starting my bookkeeping business. I guess I was kind of dragging my feet with it, but I was still working on it and getting some decent prospects. So I had a lot of things going. I was planning on getting married in the next year, hopefully getting a house once our 7-month lease was up. And then literally, with things feeling relatively stable within a week, everything just kind of flipped upside down. And it's not like a pity thing at all. In a lot of ways I'm glad that I'm getting to experience this, but it is very important to stay on your toes, to stay on your toes in life, and don't take things for granted, because no matter what you have, no matter how stable things feel, everything can change in a week. And the lesson there is you've just got to be mentally prepared. You just got to be mentally prepared for that. And you're not going to be that mentally prepared if your life is too easy. So you've got to engage in difficult things. You've got to seek out your own suffering, or else life will give it to you. And it's going to give it to you in a way that you're not ready for. So that's the greatest argument for doing martial arts, doing boxing, doing Muay Thai, doing Jiu-Jitsu. If you can willingly add controlled levels of suffering to your life when everything else is going good, then you will be a lot more mentally ready to deal with the big things that happen that you have no control over. So, I'm gonna say it a million times, but you really should do a martial art. It can't hurt you. It can hurt you, but it can't at the same time. It's not gonna be that bad. It's really not gonna be that bad. If you're wise and you know your boundaries and you train with people who you trust, and that's a really important part. Don't train with sketchy people. If you get like a bad vibe off of somebody, you don't have to train with them. And it's better to create a socially awkward situation if they ask you to spar and you tell them no, than for you to say yes out of guilt and obligation and then get your arm broken or your knee torn or whatever else. So, but you really do have a level of control over that. So, do a martial art. I recommend Jiu-Jitsu because I feel like it's probably the most easily accessible one. And it will help you in so many ways in life. It will help you in a lot of ways. I just had a really, really, really intense wrestling night like 3 days ago. And it was just a circuit. So it would be one guy in and a line of guys lined up on the side of the mat, and the guy in the front of the line goes with that guy. Then no matter who wins, the guy who just got out of the line stays in. The first guy goes out to the back of the line, and you just circle through like that. And so no matter what happens, you're trying to kill each other as much as you can until you get the other person down in a pinning position or a takedown or whatever. So you're going at it full force, and you have to go 2 times in a row. And that might not sound like a lot to somebody who hasn't trained, but if you've ever done something like that, you know how brutally exhausting it can be very quickly. Like if you have a 1 or 2 minute long war with a guy, and y'all are both trying everything within your power to get the other guy down and overcome the other guy using every tool your physical body has, pretty much, and you do that for 2 minutes, you will be more tired than any workout you could ever do. Any weight, any resistance band training, no matter what it is, you will be more tired than that, because you are going with somebody who is matching your effort and trying to surpass it. There is no other form of resistance you can experience that is more intense than that. So it's like going against a clone of yourself that's trying as hard as you are, but a little bit harder. And then you have to try a little bit harder. No matter how tired you are, you have to keep trying a little bit harder than they are. And you got to do that 2 times in a row and go back through the line and do it again. So needless to say, I was beat up, exhausted, extremely mentally tired, and I had some really tough rounds that lasted like a couple minutes. And I was able to get some pretty good success and get a couple of guys down, get a couple of really good takedowns, win a few of the matches. And I had to dig really deep inside of my spirit to find the strength to keep going when I could, taste blood in my mouth. You get that metallic smell in your nose. I don't know if anybody else gets that. When you're so tired, you just start smelling like metal. You're like, your vision is pulsating. You can feel your heart beating in your throat. You like, at some points you would rather be dead. Like, there's sometimes the thought just goes through your mind of like, God, I wish I could just turn it off. I wish I could just like die and just experience some sense of relief from this. But you got to keep going. You got to find some way to get up and continue to go against this guy who's trying to murder you when you can barely even move your legs. You can barely even push yourself off the ground. And not only that, this dude is putting all his weight on you. So you gotta, and you gotta do it fast too. You can't do this shit slowly. You cannot wrestle slowly. So you gotta, you've gotta really, really, really find out what you're made of. And that night of training has really stuck with me throughout the course of this week and helped me to deal with so many of the difficult things that have happened. It helped me deal with a couple of rough days at work where I didn't really get any sales, I didn't get any success, just dealing with rejection over and over and over again. It helped me with some social situations, some conflicts. It helped me deal with this food poisoning that I got last night that I'm still dealing with right now. My stomach, as I'm talking right now, feels like somebody is digging a knife into it and just twisting it. It is very, very painful. But I'm still going to have to do some kind of work today because I have to dig myself out of a pretty big hole. I have to get my car brakes fixed. I'm probably going to have to get a new car soon. I have to get some kind of stable living situation in the pretty near future. I have to build up some kind of emergency savings. I have to get my wisdom teeth taken out because they're starting to crowd my other teeth. I really need to get surgery on my shoulder because it's been torn for 2 years now. And the bone is a little bit broken on it, so it's healed kind of funky. But I really need to get that fixed. So I have a lot of things where I cannot afford to sit and just idle and focus on how bad I might feel for myself, or how unfair things feel, or how difficult my current situation might feel. And honestly, as difficult as these things are, I think it's a true blessing to be able to have something like that in your life. It is a true blessing to have problems that you cannot just switch off, that force you to get up and push through whatever you're dealing with in that day and find some way to make it work. Because there's no stronger sense of meaning when you don't have time to think about meaning. You don't have time to think about like anything really. You don't have time to dwell on sadness or emotion, or this person rejected me, or you have to find some way to fix your brakes because you have to drive to work. And if you keep this up for another couple weeks, you're literally not going to be able to stop your car on the highway. So you got to find some way to make it work. You have to find some way to fix it. And it keeps you sharp, and it keeps you alive, really. And that is a blessing. And I do hope for some time eventually where I can kind of relax and settle down and really catch my breath. But I don't want my whole life to be that. I don't want to overcome struggle once and for all and be satisfied until the day I die and whatever else. Like, I want to achieve goals. I want to feel the happiness of accomplishing something, but I don't want to ever feel like I ran out of problems to solve. And I don't think really anybody wants that. That's a very meaningless life. So I think meaning is found in problems. Problems give life meaning. It gives you a reason that surpasses any kind of like psychological or spiritual concepts that you can doubt or argue with yourself about. And yeah, I think that's why, if you were to live out in the woods and just hunt for your own food and have to constantly defend yourself against predators, you probably don't have time to be depressed. You probably don't have time to be thinking about what's the meaning of life. You know what the meaning of life is. You literally know that your meaning every day is to wake up, sneak up on some animal, kill it, bring it back to your family, hope they didn't get eaten by a bear while you were gone. Maybe the bear shows up at the same time as you and you gotta fight that bear while carrying the small animal on your back that you just killed. And hopefully you win. And then now you can finally bring that meal back to your family. And then start over again. And hopefully every day you can save a little bit more than what you spent. Get a little bit more food than what you needed for the day. So then in times of emergency or bad weather or whatever else, you still have enough to get by. And there's no more meaningful experience than that. And that is how we are designed and programmed to live. So don't run from struggle. Don't resent it. Don't be afraid of struggle. You should cherish struggle. You should be grateful that you have something to work for, that you have a problem to solve. You should be grateful that you have the ability to solve the problem. And yeah, it's It's been a tough day. It's been a tough week. But I'm gonna get through it. I know I'm going to. I know I am. I was up on a decent sized ladder, metaphorically speaking, for the last few years. I truly felt that I had basically everything that I wanted in life. All I had wanted was to be in a long-term and stable relationship, and to be a father and provide for my family, and be a teacher, be a leader to them, guide them through things, protect them, and just make sure they had enough resources, more resources than what I had. And that was pretty much been my life's goal for the last several years. And I felt that I pretty much had that. I was definitely on the way to getting it. It was just around the corner. And then the ladder collapsed, and now I'm at the bottom of that ladder. The thing that's different now is that I have the knowledge and the experience of having climbed the ladder before. And so while I'm at the bottom of the ladder, bruised a little bit, maybe I sprained my ankles pretty bad, broke my arm from the fall, I now know how to build another ladder and climb it even faster. And that's a pretty cool thing. That's pretty awesome. So while I've been dealing with some pretty difficult emotions, I have been for the last couple weeks, I have full confidence in myself and the things that I have worked for, the things that I've learned, the challenges I've overcome to climb the ladder again and build a better ladder, a taller ladder, a more structured, stable ladder, and be able to climb it even faster. So that's all I got. I'm gonna spend today fixing my brakes, trying to get over this food poisoning and hopefully get some work done. My stomach really hurts, but it'll get better. It's gonna get better for me. If you're watching this, it's gonna get better for you. And yeah, that's all I got.